Hiya, and welcome back to Password, the game that teaches us that we cannot remember past details. Like, you all can remember past details, I can't. Which day is this? I don't know. We're about to find out. Day 9. Let's hop right in. It then clicked. I know what he was about to say.
Well, everyone is here.
Oh, shit. That's right. Roswell apologies. Should we apologize again or stay quiet? Ah, my headphones. No! There we go. We're just gonna speed run this. Speed runs. Wait a minute. Hold up. Oh shit, wild.
Game, set, and match.
I'd barely put the card down and looked to Roswell, a broad grin on his face even before I'd made eye contact. Flicking over the card in his hand, Roswell showed us the red card in his hand, casually placing it down on the pile atop the card I played. Good game. Next one will go to me, Roswell. Just you wait. After glancing between the two, I followed Roswell towards the kitchen. Roswell wandered over to the pantry, throwing it open and looking around. Roswell?
Yes?
In the next moment, Roswell had already grabbed a bag of chips, turning to me while rummaging still with his free hand. What are you doing?
Stocking up.
For what? Won't you spoil your dinner?
Not when I'll be the one making it.
Wait, since when?
Oh, just now. Now there's no problem, right?
As if making his point further, he lightly jostled the bag of candy in his other hand. I don't think that's how that works. Besides, what do you need all this for anyway?
It's a snack, for studying.
You're studying? But we finished school, you don't need to study.
Okay, then what if I want to study?
Oh, well...
Also, I have something I wanted to show you. Something neat.
This sounds like a ploy to get me to study with you.
I solemnly swear on the candy I hold that I won't make you study.
Okay, but I do get some of that, right?
I don't know. You seem to have issues about it spoiling your dinner.
But you said...
Got you. Now come on to the study.
Roswell led the way, snacks bundled up in his arms as we made our way back upstairs. Something seemed off, and it was only when we reached the top of the stairs that I realized what the problem was. Roswell?
What is it, Dave?
This is the museum. You said the study, right?
Right. That's where we're going.
Okay.
Okay, just here, hold these for me.
He thrust the snacks at me, and I scrambled to keep them from falling.
Alright, check this out.
Roswell wandered over to a nearby bookcase and with a confident smile started to push. Or at least he tried.
Come on, move already.
I watched as he strained against the bookcase, trying to push it with seemingly no effect.
No, I can do this, just...
He doubled over, bracing himself already out of breath. What were you trying to do?
This bookcase is actually a door. I was trying to slide it aside so we could go inside. So we could get inside.
Into what? The study?
Exactly.
Oh, well, now I have questions.
Questions?
Well, yeah, like, how did you find out about this anyway?
Would you believe sheer dumb luck?
Oh, well...
Alright, I confess. It was sheer intelligent luck.
I gave him a look, trying my best to look unimpressed with what his reasoning was. Don't make me drop these snacks, Roswell.
Okay, fine. I discovered this, let's see, probably on the first day we got here. There isn't really anything important in there. It's more like an adjoining room.
Oh, hiya. No! The snacks! I cry whenever I drop snacks. Actually, I don't. I remember this was a while ago. I think it was like not too long after I'd moved in with Sam. It was after stream. He was watching Unis Honest reruns on Internet Archive. He was watching Unis Honest. I was sort of like watching it from my bed while eating tortilla chips and queso dip. Like, I was just like doing that. Literally, like, in the microwave in my room, in our room, like just eating on the bed while he was watching Unisonus. I don't know why that is relevant, but I feel like I should mention that. It was so fucking good. Like, I had just gotten them that day. First time I'd ever set foot in a Walmart in 3 months. That day. That day was the first time I had You think I'm lying, but I'm not. While going to that school, fucking Walgreens was my best friend. Walgreens was my best friend, because everything was within walking distance, but Walgreens was the closest to the campus, so I'd just go to Walgreens every day. Like, I actually got to go to Walmart that day. You don't understand how amazing it felt to go to Walmart. Never before had I celebrated to get to go to Walmart. I fucking celebrated at the fact that I got to go to Walmart. The desperation was real. It was! The desperation was real. I wanted some Walmart brand food. Alright, back to the story.
There isn't really anything important in there. It's more like an adjoining room, but very much like a little private study nook.
I swear, Roswell, I'll slam dunk these chips so hard.
Hey, wait! I just thought it'd be a neat thing to show you is all.
But how are we meant to get in? You sure this is the right bookcase?
Positive. But, I don't remember how I opened it last time. Maybe it was already unlocked? Sort of just leaned on it and it was, well, moved aside.
I looked over the bookcase and noticed two that seemed familiar. I wonder.
Wonder what?
If the locking mechanism was the same as the one in the conservatory, then opening it seemed easy enough. Given that one of the books was on a higher shelf, Roswell would have had no chance of opening this without some sort of footstool. I pulled two of the books and heard a familiar click. Can I try pushing?
Why? Think you'll be able to magically open it? Because I doubt that your magic outstrips mine, Dave.
I rolled my eyes, taking Roswell's place as he shuffled out of the way. He was more than happy to take his snacks back while I sized up the bookcase.
Well, go on then.
Giving him a confident smile, I lightly placed my palms against the bookcase and pushed without breaking eye contact. Open sesame! Sure enough, a gentle push was all it needed now that the way forward was unlocked.
How?
Magic! Gonna hydrate. I need to put Roswell in prison. Can I just, like, take him to a Walmart and just leave him there? Yeen Magician confirmed. Can I just leave Roswell in a Walmart? That way he's, like, he's not dead. But he's also not getting home anytime soon. Walmart isolation cell, the snack aisle. No, he would steal everything. But it's Walmart. But it's Walmart. Or do we want to make it an even larger... Do we want to make it even larger fuck you? Do we want to make it an even larger fuck you? Because if so, then it's not that hard. Don't drop him off at a Walmart. Drop him off somewhere that he can never truly escape. You gotta drop Roswell off somewhere where you can never truly escape. No, not Old Navy. I've escaped an Old Navy before. No. Blindfold him, then drop him off in the fucking display section of an IKEA. Blindfold him, lead him to the display section of an IKEA, then unblindfold him and run off. That's how you imprison him. You're like,
What? Where? Where am I?
but granted, knowing his ass, like, based on what I've been reading, knowing his ass, he'd find a way out. Sorry. I chuckled to myself seeing Roswell bothered about my answer, but he seemed intent to stare me down all the same. What has Joyce told me when I asked you how you did your magic, Roswell?
Yeah, good magician never reveals her secrets.
You would have seen what I did if you were paying attention. It wasn't that complicated, really.
So it wasn't magic.
Nah, just a trick, though. I'll show you later. For now, just show me what's special about the study. Roswell scurried forward into the next room, gesturing me to follow with the bag of candy. I stepped into the next room and looked around me. It looked very much like the private nook that Roswell described. If he hadn't told me that it was just an adjoining room, I would have thought it was a completely different area. Completely different one. Hold up. No, never mind.
Ta-da! Study.
Huh. Neat. So this was here this whole time.
As far as I know, there wasn't really anything in here of note, though.
He was right. It was very much just a desk in here with very little else. Given how much material was in the museum itself, it was surprising to see even more books on display here. Although none seemed to stand out. That said, when was the last time you were in here, Roswell?
Oh, let's see. Not for a while, at least. I was considering coming in here the other day, but I couldn't get it open.
And you thought today would be different.
Hey, that's not fair.
Oh, we're really going to like Roswell now?
I could have gotten lucky in it opening this time.
Yeah, well, it turns out your luck this time was just me knowing how to open it.
Hey, I'll count teamwork as a form of luck. Maybe we are just meant to be in here today.
I took another look around the room before looking back to Roswell. I'm not too sure about that.
Things just have a way of working out. Maybe it's providence, maybe it's just some magic. But it's always been something I've liked about being around you.
Me? What do I do? What did I do?
Sometimes nothing at all, but maybe it's just some guiding force that makes me feel as though you and I were always meant to cross paths.
I don't get it. Roswell set the bag of chips down and opened the bag of candy, digging around for a handful before shoveling it into his mouth. He chewed, looking thoughtful before turning to me once he'd swallowed.
Okay, so whenever I find myself having trouble and you show up, a lot of my problems just disappear, right?
Really? Like what?
It's just little things. But let's take the bookcase. I wanted it to open so I could show you. And who just so happened to know how to open it after I failed?
Oh, I think I get it.
It's always been like that, though. Ever since the first day we met, you remember, right?
Not really.
You don't?
I mean, we were really young, right?
Well, yes, but do you remember specifically?
Give me some candy Oh, wait, that's it, wasn't it?
Whatever you mean.
Do I want to give them little baby child voices? Do I want to try and give them little baby child voices? It was a cold winter when Roswell and I first met. Very cold. But it didn't put a dampener on people's spirits, though, given Christmas was right around the corner. I still remember how bitter the cold was, but how pretty all the snow made the street look. Maybe it was just Christmas skewing my views on it. As a kid, playing in the snow was something you just looked forward to, even if it came with being bundled up by your parents. The memory was something that was slowly coming back to me. After all, most days from back then were blended together. Fucker blinks! I just wanna... I just want to take like a slice of cheese and slap it onto his face. Don't ask why. Oh, he's so cute. On one such day, there was... See, that's a thing, apparently. I've been seeing it all over the internet. Babies, if they're crying, you just, like, take a slice of cheese and you just slap it on their face. If anyone decides to hurt him, I will reach the ends of the earth for you. If anyone does... I have only seen baby Roswell, little baby child Roswell. Yes! That's the weird thing, they stopped crying. I've only seen little baby child Roswell for less than 5 minutes. And if anything were to happen to him, I would obliterate everything within a 5-mile radius and myself. On one such day, there was someone I hadn't seen before. House next to us had been empty for a while, but a week or so ago a new family moved in. Dad let me go outside to play on my own to play. What greeted me was a young boar trying desperately to build something in the snow. I know, I also like that. As I wandered over, he noticed me, dropping all the snow he'd amassed in his hands.
Oh,
I need to figure out how to do that.
Oh, hello.
Oh God, that sounds horrible. I wanna do this voice justice. I wanna do him justice. That sounded like Festin. I know.
Oh.
No. Why do I keep defaulting to Festin? No. I don't want to give him an ooh voice either. I can't do it. I can't. Actually, let me figure it out. Okay, so da 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 da. Obviously, it's going to be higher pitched. And then I need to thick out my tongue a bit because
That sort of helps with it and add in more air, and there we go. Oh, hello. Oh, hello. Hello.
young boar sniffled, talking in. Well, I guess it wasn't any higher than what you'd expect from a kid, but
Who are you? Are you...
his eyes darted from me to the snow structure he was working on before looking back to me again.
Are you here to help? Oh, no. Not really. Oh, okay.
We stared at one another before I remembered what I'd been taught about good manners. Or at least remembered what Mom and Dad had told me about meeting someone new.
Oh, I'm Dave. Nice to meet you. Oh.
There was no follow-up, just his exclamation as if realizing what had just been said to him, answering his question from before.
Who are you? Do you live in that house?
Hiya, no, not baby Alex.
Oh, yeah, Mommy and Daddy and me came here before. Now it's our house.
Now Dave sounds like Roswell, I know.
Oh, I'm your neighbor. I live in this house next to yours. Ah! Oh. Then we can be friends. I'm Roswell.
Suddenly, Roswell had grabbed me and hopped up and down on his feet, gesturing to his creation in the snow.
Mommy and Daddy said that I might make a friend when you get to the new house. That's you. Oh, okay. But I need help. Can you help me? I can ask my dad. He can help us. He can? Is he a friend too? Yeah, he's my best friend.
The comment seemed to turn the boar off, making him shuffle uncomfortably on the spot.
Oh.
He almost sounded sad at that remark, looking to his snow sculpture.
I'm making a best friend. I've never had one before. You're so lucky. Oh, but I can be your best friend. Really?
Roswell squealed happily, once again hopping up and down.
And best friends get chocolate. We do?
Now it was my turn to bounce happily. Dad had always kept sweets high above where I could reach for some reason, so any excuse to have some was fine by me. I remember Roswell holding out his hands expectantly for me to hand him something.
Chocolate, please. Oh, I don't have chocolate. Oh no, but what do we do without chocolate? First I couldn't make a best friend, now my new best friend doesn't have chocolate. No best friend for Roswell now.
Mmm. Oh, it was blackmail. Oh, it's blackmail, okay. He sniffled, hanging his shoulders. I felt bad having let my new neighbor down. I didn't see it as blackmail at the time. Emotional blackmail.
What if we finish making the snow friend? You'll help me finish it? Yeah. Oh boy! Then Roswell will have a friend for Christmas. Oh. What's wrong? I thought that we could be friends. Really? Then let's be best friends. I don't have chocolate. I don't mind. Oh.
So the two of us started to assemble this creation he'd planned, scooping snow into a pile until it was too tall for him to reach. This was why he couldn't finish it. Without the height to put a head on this thing, he was stuck making something smaller than him. And apparently that wouldn't do? We don't! Sure enough, when the time came, I rolled up a ball of snow like Dad had showed me and placed it on top. It was wonky, but what we made looked something like a boar, to say the least.
Okay, now we need the teethies. Yeah. Like yours. Or yours. That's mean. You're a meanie. No, I'm not. You're a meanie. No, you.
He pushed me, trying to knock me over, instead falling into the snow flat on his face.
Are you okay? I'm okay. But what can we use for the teethies? Oh, let me go get something for my house. You'll come back? Yeah. Okay.
I remember running inside and bumping into Dad, trying to explain what had happened. He just laughed and helped me find something to take out to continue playing in the snow. When I got back, there he was, sitting in the snow.
I'm back. You're back.
I held up the carrots that Dad had given me, one in each hand before plunging them into the head of our creation. Baby Bacon just pulled an Uno reverse card out of nowhere. No! I held up the carrots that Dad had given me, one in each hand before plunging them into the head of our creation. They jutted up like tusks, and I turned to see what Roswell thought of my finishing touches. He seemed to gently touch his own tusks before reaching out and lightly poking the carrots before bouncing on the spot.
It's done. It's friend-shaped. Thank you, Dave. Thank you. Oh, you're welcome. You really are the best friend. My best friend.
I had a smile on my face having recalled Roswell and I first meeting. From the looks of things, he'd been reminiscing as well, his eyes darting to catch my gaze before looking away just as quick.
If you remember our first meeting as fondly as I do, Dave.
It was cold, huh?
Right.
Roswell shoved another fistful of candy into his mouth before holding the bag out to me. Wow, that is aggressive. They were fruit gummies, so I took a couple and chewed them while Roswell wandered over to the desk in the room.
Dave?
Yeah?
I just,
He was fidgeting on the spot, unsure of what he should say or do as far as I could tell. What's wrong?
Nothing at all. Just, ever since then, I've always seen you as my best friend. Whether it's more than that or only that, I don't know. So, even if Orlando's your current best friend, you're still mine. Always have been.
I laughed, nervous, somewhere between flattered and nervous that I didn't really know how best to respond. Almost in response to me starting, Roswell started to snicker to himself, moving into a full giggling fit.
So, we should probably get to studying, huh?
Oh, right, you came in here to study and wanted to show me this room, yes?
Right.
But what were you studying?
Oh, well, I've been trying to find this book that you were telling me about.
I gave him a blank stare, confused.
You know, the one you described seeing when...
He finished his thought by tapping his head, getting his point across. Oh, neat. Roswell shook his head, sighing out.
I think I found it, but I like having a place to sit while I look over books.
Oh, well,
Here, let me just go get it. Just a sec.
I watched as Roswell abandoned his snacks on the desk, doubling back into the museum to retrieve something. While he hummed to himself in the room next door, I looked at the chips that he'd grabbed. The assumption was that Roswell would have grabbed something he liked, but maybe it was just what was in the pantry. Still, I don't mind barbecue. I opened the packet and grabbed a few, cradling the packet while I had a snack, watching as Roswell came back into the study.
What are you doing?
Chips.
I can see that!
Did you find your book?
Oh, right. Yeah, I think I found it.
He sat a large book down on the desk, patting the dark blue cover.
This look familiar?
Well, I swallowed, figured that talking with my mouth full of chips wasn't the way to go. Maybe, remember, I told you the book was open, right?
That does make things harder. Well, anyway, let me show you what I found.
When did you find this?
You seem to be very, keen on asking me when I did anything.
Can you blame me?
No, I guess not. I'd try and find time to come back in here after we did our impromptu investigation. After all, only way to discount it as a bad dream is to search everything, right?
I guess, but you seemed a lot more torn up about it when we went looking. What changed?
What, am I not allowed to think about my mortality and choose to face it head on? I doubt any of the others would be so willing to disprove their own demise.
Sure. As long as you're okay, I think I'm fine with it. I have other things on my mind to work through anyway, but if you wanted help with your stuff...
Come on, Dave, it's not all doom and gloom. I don't know. I prefer things this way. It's almost like a game, almost.
Well, alright.
Now, on to the discovery. Forgive the turn of phrase.
Roswell flipped open the book he'd found and turned to a page. Sure enough, it looked familiar, the word discovery right there in plain view. That's it! That's the page!
You're certain?
Pretty sure, yeah.
How fascinating. Well, maybe not fascinating so much as just a coincidence.
Why's that?
This book in particular is about the development of cures for anything and everything going on in the brain. Most of it is just theoretical stuff, but still.
You've read this whole thing already?
Don't be silly, I've only skimmed it. But I do have a copy of this book back at my place. I think it belongs to my mom.
That's... huh.
The thing is, the section that this is, the one that you're finding familiar, it's about brain cancer.
Oh, shit. Hiya. Well, isn't that... I don't know.
It's about brain cancer.
Wait, really?
Yeah. It explains how you get diagnosed with it, plus the treatment plans, and also goes into some theoretical stuff about potentially using plants for new drugs to combat the spread of the cancer cells in your body.
I took another handful of chips, crunching on them loudly. Watched as Roswell's expression shifted as I crunched, shooting him a confused look.
You are listening, right?
Nodding quickly, I swallowed. Yeah, but I don't get why it's important.
Well, just some of the things around here hint that maybe someone was stockpiling materials to make something like a drug to combat cancer.
Someone like who? Roswell scratched his chin, thinking.
Maybe someone that lived here? The person whose house this is makes the most sense to me anyway.
Sure, but you still haven't said why.
A lot of the books here cover medicine. Some of them are research reports, and others delve into medicinal properties of various plants and fungi. I was curious and took a peek in the greenhouse myself. I even asked Dean what he knew about what was in here. Was in there, and most of what he could identify readily lined up with what I'd seen mentioned in books. If I had to guess, this mansion doubled as something else, maybe as a research facility at some point. That, or someone's got a really quirky hobby.
My hand was already rummaging in the packet of chips, still waiting for Roswell to tell me how he thought it was important.
Maybe I just find the irony that I was bludgeoned in the head by a book about curing head-related issues a bit on the nose, honestly.
Well, I didn't know what the book was about, so...
And if I told you that the book was written by my mother?
You can't be serious. Roswell closed the book and showed me the cover, pointing to the name embossed to the embossed name at the bottom. Roswell, that's not your mother's name.
It totally is.
Your mother's name is... Guy Mannington? He just laughed, setting the book down again.
It could just be a pen name, you never know.
Roswell grabbed his candy and shoved another handful into his mouth. We left the book in the study, heading back into the museum. So, time to study?
Something like that. I figured maybe I'd do some sleuthing on my own and maybe piece together who actually lives here. It's the least I can do for not paying attention to my parents beforehand, right?
Oh, then can I help?
What happened to not wanting to study?
Well, sure, but this is less studying and more like a game, right?
Well, in that case, grab a book and let's start looking into things.
Are we just doing it at random like we did the other day?
Well, we could, but I'd advise against it. Chances of you finding anything of worth randomly is, well...
I wiped my hands so it was clean enough to handle books and looked over the bookshelf I was next to. All these books look the same, Roswell.
Who knows? You might get lucky and pull the right book. Here, I'll even let you officially borrow some of my luck if you're that worried.
Well... I reached out to the books on the shelf, trying to decide which one to pull out first. Some of them had words on the spines, others were completely blank.
Just pick one, Dave.
Okay, fine, how's that? I turned to him as I pulled a random book off the shelf. It's sliding free easily enough, but dragging something along with it that landed on my foot. Oh, huh?
You can't be serious.
I placed the book down on the floor and picked up the metal that had landed on my foot. Oh, son of a bitch. Guess this was tangled up against the cover or something?
Okay, that's enough borrowing of my luck. I want it back now.
Are we on the same team, though? This is just a win for us, right?
True, but I feel like that's maybe a little too convenient.
Yo, for fuck's sake. Another medal.
Maybe best if we don't tell the others of this right away.
If you say so. Which one is this anyway? It looks kind of like, handcuffs, maybe?
Handcuffs? Let me see.
Handed over the medal to Roswell to take, and his face scrunched up the moment he flipped it over to see what I was talking about. Next moment, he threw the medal down hard, narrowly missing his own foot.
I swear, today's a mess.
Did I do something?
Of course not.
Did the medal do something? Roswell knelt down and picked up the medal, shoving it into my face, slightly brushing against my nose.
Do you know what sign this is?
Handcuffs?
No.
Space handcuffs.
Dave, come on, be serious.
Only trying to lighten the mood. I don't know which one it is. With a sigh, Roswell shook his head.
Cancer, the crab.
Oh, so it wasn't handcuffs, but pinchers.
I suppose so.
I glanced at the chips in my hand and offered them out to Roswell.
No, it's all right. Although...
Oh no, what?
Dave, up for some fun tonight?
What kind of fun?
I think it'd be good if we got to unwind a bit tonight. Relive some of the old times. A good old slumber party with just the two of us.
Didn't we do that the other night?
No, something for best friends only.
So, Orlando's coming?
No, Dave, just us. I have the snacks and everything already prepared.
Well, yeah, obviously just us, but where did you get all the snacks from? You didn't bring them with you, did you? Roswell? Tell me you didn't bring them with you.
Then I won't, but after dinner, let's just, I don't know, Would this be classed as a date?
I don't know. Is it one?
I'll leave that up to you, but I figure something to take your mind off of things would do you some good. I know it's what I need, and if I can involve you as well, then all the better.
I nodded slowly as he reached out and put a hand on my arm, flashing me a smile.
So, how about we just relax in here until it's time for dinner, and then when that's all done, we can get this party underway?
I watched as Roswell pored over books for most of the afternoon. He looked so determined if troubled by something. I'll just pick up a book and start reading it. Hopefully fiction. He was in the zone, though, and I knew better than to take him from it while he frantically searched for answers to questions he hadn't voiced. At some point, I moved from playing catch with the metal to pulling out a book from the shelf and settling in. What's in 2 days? Oh shit, that's right, I forgot. Completely forgot, Amethyst. Sorry, I completely forgot. I am so sorry. Yeah, it's his birthday. I completely forgot. I am so sorry. I completely forgot. Yep. While Roswell had opted to continue to pull books on stuff far too academic for my liking, I started working through easy-to-read stories. There was a pattern I soon discovered after flicking through some of the books. In all of them, not one of them seemed to have a rabbit as a good guy. In fact, most of them seemed to go out of their way to cast a rabbit as the villain. I looked to Roswell to see if he was in any state of mind to have an opinion on this, but he was still focused on his own reading material. Closing the book I had grabbed, I leaned against a bookcase and thought, were these originals or edits of originals to cater to someone's racist preference in reading material? It was something I tucked into the back of my mind just in case it came up again later. By the time dinner rolled around, Roswell and I filed into the kitchen, a notable spring in his step with him leading the way. It seemed like he was serious about taking charge of dinner tonight. Still riding high from before, looking forward to this, slumber party?
Of course. Why wouldn't I be?
Roswell wandered around the kitchen, picking up bits and pieces from the pantry before turning back to me.
You know, I think today turned out pretty well, don't you?
I wasn't expecting you to apologize to Tyke so quickly, and then all the coincidences in the study. That seemed to be the wrong thing to say, as the expression soured quickly. That is to say, I think it was that you did good. It was good that you did, though. Thank you for that.
Well, you're welcome. After thinking about it a bunch, I asked myself what you'd do.
Me? If it were me, I'd try avoiding the fight if I could.
Sure, but that's not what I meant. I just asked myself what you would do, and the only thing that I could imagine is you chiming in with "do the right thing, Roswell."
I actually really think it's a slumber party. I mean, yeah, I'd probably say that.
See, so I thought about it and figured that the right thing to do would be to apologize. I've taken the first step, but I still want to see something from him.
But
no buts. I'm willing to give him a chance, but you can't fight his battles for him. But enough about that. We have dinner to make and a party to get to.
You sure, Roswell? Like, if we can reschedule if that's better.
Of course I'm sure you mean well. You mean well, and it's awesome that you'll jump in to defend those you care about, but you can't always be throwing yourself in danger like that. It'll be the death of you if you're not careful.
Foreshadowing.
Forgive the turn of phrase.
No, I mean, okay, fine, but that's not what I meant.
What did you mean?
I meant about dinner to make. You have Benson around, so...
Sure, but I can pull my weight too. Besides, I cooked with Dean once. I can do it by myself just fine.
And how much of that did Dean do?
Well, you see, he may have done most of the work, but I did boil the pasta.
Right. Fucking right. I have actually been to a slumber party. I've actually been to multiple. Done multiple. They're fucked. Right. What's it like? It depends on the age. It very much depends on the age. Like, if you have a bunch of preteens, then it's pretty calm. It's pretty calm. Bunch of teenagers. It's also pretty calm. Yeah, they can get wild, but if it's a bunch of young adults, then it's absolutely fucking terrifying. Just prepare to get your worldview rocked. Because it is terrifying. He's back to the story. I keep getting sidetracked tonight. I keep getting sidetracked. Once more, Roswell started wandering around the kitchen, collecting things before setting them on the counter.
I had an idea for dinner anyway. Should be easy enough to make.
Okay, but what is it? I came to help, but what should I be doing?
Can you steam rice?
Maybe.
Maybe? I assumed you could do that.
And you don't?
I sort of know. I think I could figure it out.
Okay, so skipping the rice, what are we having with it?
Mushroom curry.
You can curry mushrooms?
Is curry even a verb here?
That doesn't matter, just how to make the thing.
Well, I was thinking we could just make it like a spicy stew, right? That's basically the same thing.
Not too spicy, I hope.
Of course not, but that'll be up to you.
Why me?
Look, if it wasn't clear by the other night, my nose isn't as good as I gave it credit for. Yours is much better.
Oh, I guess it's pretty good, but what makes you think I'd be good with spices?
Is that not how it works? Well, shoot, I'm sorry. There goes me assuming things I shouldn't.
Well, I'm happy to give it a try. What's the worst that could happen?
Well, the worst case scenario would be we set the place on fire, right? Or at the very least burn dinner.
Yeah, let's aim for better than that.
Agreed.
Also, one about chopping up some mushrooms and I started peeling potatoes. If we were making a curry or like a stew, we'd need potatoes. By the time I was done, Roswell was already throwing things into a large pot along with other bits that he'd pulled from the pantry.
All right, Dave, time for you to add your special touch on this.
Oh no, I don't have any special touches.
I just...
He rubbed his temple before going back to stir the pot further.
What else should we add to this?
Well, I had potatoes. What did you add? You want to stick your toes into his nose.
I cut up some of the mushrooms I brought in from the forest. Nothing really fancy, but there were some in the pantry, too.
And you're sure that's safe?
Positive.
What about onion?
Could do onion.
Salt? Pepper? Nutmeg?
Does nutmeg go in stew?
Pulled a face and he shrugged, only clutching at straws. I didn't really know, and it seemed as though Roswell didn't know either.
Well, let's wing it. How bad can it be? I'll do the onion and you do the rice.
Oh, maybe we can add stuff to the rice to make that tasty too, like, garlic.
Butter.
Both.
Both is good.
Last time I had curry was like years ago. After a little bit of trial and error, the two of us managed to get dinner sorted and brought it out so we could all eat. What about the rice? Oh, we added butter and garlic to it before steaming it.
Yeah, I thought it'd be a little more rounded out than just normal plain rice.
What's wrong with normal steamed rice? This stew was heavy enough as it was.
I was just trying to be fancy, that's all. There's not really enough for another whole meal anyway, so I guess it works out.
I'll help you out too, Roswell. No point in going on ahead.
Are you sure?
Absolutely. Between the three of us, it shouldn't take too long, just as Al said.
Can't argue with that. Alright, let's get this done and settle in for the night.
He brought everything into the kitchen, ready to start cleaning. Okay, time for the dishes.
Yeah, I'll wash the plates and then Sal can do the glass later. But first, you're on rinsing duty, Dave.
You wash the glass first.
What?
You wash the glass first.
It doesn't matter that much, does it?
Started rinsing the plates as Sal looked Roswell over, sizing him up. It matters. If you do the glass first, then the water is clear. If you do the plates first, all the grime gets on the glass and makes it cloudy.
It can't really be that noticeable, is it?
Fine, do the plates first.
No, wait, I'll listen.
Sal threw his arms up in a shrug and started bringing more things over for me to rinse, with Roswell close behind.
Sal, teach me how to clean the dishes properly.
Oh my god, thank you for the follow. Thank you for the follow. Thank you, oh my god, thank you. After I rinsed the dishes, I stood back while Sal taught Roswell to do the dishes. I just assumed that Roswell would know and Sal wouldn't, but maybe this was just another thing that Roswell was eager to know. It was him to a fault, always learning, always seeking out new bits of knowledge. Never tried if only the fish would be cooked. Still, Sal seemed to be a good teacher, but I got the impression that maybe he was treating Roswell a little too much like a younger sibling with how he was phrasing his instructions. Not that Roswell seemed to mind, at least. At some point I wandered off, figured that I should get a shower in before whatever Roswell was planning. Maybe it was just the fact that the museum was dustier than I gave it credit for, but once I stepped into the shower, I felt the dirt and grime wash away the longer I stood there. Maybe it was the idea that Roswell put into my head about being a potential date. And I found myself scrubbing myself a little bit harder than I normally would, just to be sure. After all, if you're going on a date, you may as well look your best. That was a bit too presumptuous, was it just a slip of the tongue? Even at the thought of tongues made me bring a hand to my mouth, remembering that the fact that Roswell and I had kissed, and if this was just another escalation from that, would he be that bold? We were just sleeping. I figured I'd throw on a pair of sleeping shorts and grab my toothbrush. Figured there'd be some level of sharing a bed tonight, so best to be prepared. I wandered over to Roswell's room and found him sitting on the bed, checking his phone for something before waving me over.
Dave, I was wondering where you'd ended up.
Just, shower and junk.
Well, speaking of, I was about to take one myself.
Patted some pajamas folded neatly next to him before bundling them up under an arm.
So make yourself comfortable and it shouldn't be too long. And if you find yourself getting a bit cold, feel free to borrow a shirt, Dave. Or use one of the spare blankets. Either works.
Giggling to himself, he wandered into the bathroom to leave me with my thoughts. Closing the door behind me and shuffling over to his bed, I looked around Roswell's room. It seemed as though he hadn't gone through the effort to clean his room before I arrived, but that hardly mattered. I took a load off by sitting on the bed, grabbing one of the spare blankets and draping it loosely over my head when a brief chill came over me. Before too long, Roswell emerged from the bathroom just ready for bed.
Sorry to keep you waiting. Ready to get this party underway?
I gave him a look, gesturing to his room. Looks like someone already had a party and we weren't invited.
Well, I can sort of change that.
By cleaning, 'cause your room is a pigsty.
Phrasing, Dave.
I mean it, though. I don't know anyone else this messy.
Hey, busy room, busy mind, or however the saying goes. So, let me just get the last thing to make this complete and we can get started.
I watched from the bed as Roswell started turning over his clothes strewn over the floor, bundling up into his arms bags of snacks and candy as if they were all tucked away for safekeeping. What the fuck? This man is putting the fear of God into my soul. I am fearing for my life right now. Roswell,
Yes.
did you deliberately hide things in your clothes or just...
Oh no, just where they ended up. But they're all new packets, so no need to worry about that. Now.
This CG is adorable. Just looking at it is adorable. I've been in that situation before. I've been in a similar situation before. Why screenshot it when I can just go into the files? Just like jump into the game files, extracted, because I like to extract game files sometimes and go through them. Because you know, it's fun. It's fun going through game files. Just like seeing how they were built. Obviously, like if they weren't already extracted, I'm not going to do anything with them, and even then I wouldn't do anything, but like still I like looking through them. They're fun. And this is so cute. Like, you got the yeen and the boar. You're both short as hell. I am actually as tall as the yeen. The yeen and I are the same height. I want to hug them both. I just want to squish them. Roswell dropped everything on the bed and got comfortable opposite me, sitting among a nest of snacks.
This is a party.
So we're just going to eat junk food?
Yeah, and?
I don't know. He looked around his snacks and unwrapped a lollipop, putting it into his mouth before passing me a cylindrical tube of chips.
You like these, right?
I smirked, rubbing my thumbs across the label. Thanks.
Aw, what's eating at you, Dave?
I don't know how you can do it, flipping between being fine with things one minute and worried about them the next.
Maybe that's just one of my superpowers.
What I wouldn't give to have a superpower of my own, you know? It'd make things easier, that's for sure.
Are you really sure about that? I think you're plenty special without needing, say, laser beam eyes.
I chuckled, smirking a little bit. Yeah, maybe.
I mean it! You're plenty special. That's one of the reasons I love you, Dave.
It didn't register immediately after he'd said it, but I did a double take after realizing what he said. Did you just...
What?
You love me?
Well, yeah, obviously.
Is that why we kissed?
Doesn't have to be.
I furrowed my brow, confused at what Roswell was getting at. Thankfully, he seemed to pick up on this and pulled the lollipop from his mouth to explain.
There is a lot of different kinds of love. Paternal love, unrequited love, familial love.
He grimaced, looking off to the side while he continued to think, a gesture I mimicked, opting to look instead at the tube of chips in my hands.
Fraternal love, romantic love, platonic love.
Roswell.
There's also unconditional love, obsessive love, love for sweets.
Roswell!
What?
What's the point you're trying to make?
The point I'm trying to make is, well, I know I love you, I just don't know where that falls just yet. But do I want to find out? Absolutely. What that makes us in the meantime, I don't really know.
What about the others? Orlando seems pretty keen on setting me up with Dean.
I think I'm fine with that. End of the day, it's your call, and if by the time I figure it out into something more like romantic love, well, that's just a shame for me.
But I don't want to, upset you.
And I'm not selfish to make you put your life on hold for me to figure it out. No one has the time for that. Make sense?
Yeah, I guess so. If I'm being honest, the whole vault thing, it's really messing with my priorities.
No kidding, but still. You really have to loosen up, Dave.
Roswell shook his head gently.
As much as worrying about how I died is thing, I feel like you need to maybe do some digging yourself. Sorry, was that stepping over the line?
With a sigh, I shook my head. No, you're probably right. It's been long enough.
I just miss the happy you is all.
I know. Sorry, it's, well, you know, enough about it, right?
Right. But you are working on it, right?
Slowly?
Dave.
I could be doing better, you're right.
What am I going to do with you?
He was important to me, Roswell. I can't just... What if I forget about him? What if I don't live up to his expectations? I deflated, hugging the blanket tighter around me. Don't worry, you're not the only one that's told me that they miss the old me. We sat in awkward silence for a while before I popped the lid on the tube I'd been given and tipped the contents unceremoniously into my mouth, half choking from how fast my mouth filled up. I munched and chomped, keeping my mouth full. There was something to be said about eating your troubles away, but maybe I just needed to indulge just this once and take a page out of Roswell's book. No sooner had I swallowed, I reached for a bag of candy, and Roswell joined in too, both of us ravenously devouring a large part of what he'd provided. At some point, the sugar rush turned into a sugar crash, and we passed out, half cuddled up together on the bed. I felt as though I'd eaten too much, and I didn't brush my teeth, but I felt a little happier. Happier enough that I considered it a win. This is so cute. So fucking wholesome. I don't know how long I was asleep for or how quickly I fell asleep once I was conscious of it. With the added new sound of Roswell next to me splayed on his back and snoring happily to himself, I could have sworn we'd ended up cuddling when we fell asleep. But he looked comfortable even with the shirt halfway up his belly. My shirts do that. I had to give him more credit. He was trying, if not doing a great job. Not that I was much better. This whole dating thing was new to me, too. Not only that, if we were actually dating was something I wasn't clear on. Maybe I just liked being told up front that this was how things were. Roswell? You awake? I looked over him to see if he stirred, and shy of grunting and mumbling something incoherent back at me, his snoring resumed without missing a beat otherwise. My mind went back to the dream I just woke from, and with a sigh I got out of bed. Huh? I didn't think I'd notice you bunking up with someone. I felt my face go red. Not that it's any of my business, but I heard you were all about the cuddles. Well, yeah, but... Then why bail? Bad dream, I could take your place if you're worried. I wasn't sure if he was making a joke to cheer me up, or was at least a little serious. So cute, like the yin is just done and Roswell's just here. Didn't notice he was there at first, almost making me jump from a sudden appearance.
Are you okay?
Oh, yeah, I think so.
Are you sure?
Looking to Roswell, he seemed genuinely concerned and I let out a sigh. I just needed to decide something, that's all.
Decide what, especially this early?
Do you think we're in danger? Really?
From what?
Well, you know, I saw you dead, you wanted to know how, then Benson...
Oh, right. Took me by surprise, sure, but I told you I think about death a lot. Maybe more than I should, but someone's got to, right?
I groaned, hanging my head with a sigh. Why does it feel like I'm the one that also has to think about it?
No one's forcing you, not really.
What if I told you I was worried that if I didn't do anything, someone might end up dead?
Everyone dies, Dave. Sure, it might not be when you want, and it could come suddenly, but worrying about it needlessly is only going to do more harm than good. Focus on what you can change and let the rest just happen, I guess.
I looked at him and he flashed me a smile. So, what? I just let everyone die?
Oh, no, don't do that. What I meant more was maybe don't tackle the problem so much as keeping people alive. That's what doctors are for. So maybe look at it as keeping people safe. Be the great detective and I'll be your assistant if you like.
Roswell. He beamed at me, covering his eyes as the sun started to rise over the trees.
Oh, wow, pretty. Look, Dave, the sun's coming up.
We watched as the sun rose, washing over the landscape with its warm light. Hey, Roswell?
Yeah?
Everything's going to be okay.
You think so?
I'm going to try my best to make sure of it anyway.
And I'll help, really. Say the word and I'll come running. Just, please don't make me run very far.
We both broke out laughing and we stood there watching the world for a bit before Roswell shook suddenly.
I should get back inside before I catch another cold. See you at breakfast?
Sure, and thanks for last night, Roswell. With a wave, he headed back inside. It was reassuring to know that Roswell was willing to give me a hand here. I wasn't a detective, and I could only dream of piecing things together. Roswell, though, he was clever. Between the two of us, I felt like we'd have a better chance of laying to rest my worries by finding the cause of it all. There was no avoiding it. If Roswell was already this perky in the morning, I had some catching up to do. Who knew if he decided to go make a start on breakfast or do something else? But even thinking about it reminded me that I needed coffee in my system before attempting any sort of investigation. I had the normal amount of sugar I had, and my eyes lingered on the bowl. Roswell had way too much sugar in his morning coffee, so was it worth trying? My hand hovered over the sugar bowl for a while longer before I decided against it. Yeah, we're gonna prepare breakfast. We're gonna be a happy yeen. Or at least try to be a happy yeen. I turned to Roswell, resolved. Ready for us to revisit your murder?
Excuse me? You're excused.
Hang on! What's this about revisiting a murder? You've already gone through this once and you want to do it again? Is that bad? Orlando sighed out, rubbing his head.
Well, it could be. I'm just worried that this is going to make things worse. I can't really help here. Don't worry about it. Between the two of us, I'm sure we'll be fine.
I severely doubt that, Rothwell.
It'll be fine, right, Dave?
Yeah. What am I going to do with you two? Is it really that much of a problem?
I just don't know. Are you sure this is why? They're already struggling, so... Would it be better if I invited Haas along? I'm sure he'd keep things less than serious.
I don't like how you're roping Haas in after he sent us out here. But you're right, I'll keep you to in tech. Sure you don't want to come with Orlando?
No, that's alright. You guys go, do whatever you have to do. Alright, I'll go get ready, and I suggest you do the same, Dave.
I'll go, tell Haas you're waiting for him. We broke off and headed to where we needed to go first. Taking Roswell's suggestion to heart, I started to get ready with a shower to freshen up. It cleared my head, woke me up a little, which was a nice bonus. Refreshed, it was time to assemble the tools needed for this investigation. The first, my notebook. Roswell was likely going to be grabbing his, so it made sense for me to grab mine too. So much for it being a nice scrapbook of our vacation. Still, all things considered, this seemed to be a worthy use for it. I didn't have a way to print out any photos to stick in while we were here anyway. Next up, phone. Just in case I needed to call someone or use something on it. I guess it could be used as a backup notebook, but that's only an option so long as it stays charged. I'd already let it run out once, so having something like my notebook makes sense to have as my primary method of recording information. This wasn't the first time I'd been here, nor would it be the last, especially given what we were about to do. Taking a quick look around, I wondered what was keeping the others, but I could hear them on the approach as I passed by the door leading into the room.
Oh, good, you're already here.
Well, that makes things easier. Part of me wondered if we'd have to go retrieve you from your room. Why? Did the others not fill you in? Orlando told me what you two were up to, but given how you're freaking out before, part of me wondered if you were just going to go back to bed instead. I huffed, looking from Haas to Roswell, to see him not looking all that impressed. Maybe suggesting Haas come along wasn't such a great idea after all.
This was his idea. It'd defeat the point of doing this if you went and had a nap.
You have a point. Well, alright, where does that leave us? Where do we start?
Just like that?
That'd make things easier, though, wouldn't it? Maybe start by telling me what we're investigating. All I got from Orlando was that you was to go make sure you two don't spend all day talking about depressing stuff. Well, should I do it, or do you want to, Roswell?
I'm happy to start things off. Let's begin with the basic explanation.
We're going to leave off here tonight, actually. I know it's early, but... Right? I don't know. I know it's early, but we're just going to leave off. Yeah. My mind just sort of went off, and it wasn't in the right place for this. Anyways, stay safe, have a good night, and I will see you all tomorrow.